Today we are going to perform a technique called agarose gel electrophoresis on DNA. Okay, so here I have a model of DNA with me. As we know, DNA is made up of a double helix. The two sides of the both helices are made up of backbones. Okay, in the backbone of DNA, which is made up of deoxyribose sugar and phosphate groups, okay, every time there's a phosphate group, this phosphate group is negatively charged. Okay, and that is what's shown in the diagram on the board. In the backbone of DNA, there's deoxyribose sugar alternating with the phosphate group, and this phosphate group is the source of the negative charge. So we can say that DNA is a negatively charged molecule. That means we can subject it to an electric field and it should be attracted to the positive end. Okay, so DNA is attracted to positive end, positive electrode or positive end. I will begin by showing the supplies that we need to perform gel electrophoresis. Let's talk about the supplies and the equipment that we need to perform this technique. First of all, we have to have gel chambers. Okay, this is the gel box with its lid, and the electrodes are there, the positive electrode and the negative. The negative is black color coded, the positive electrode is red. Okay, and there are tungsten wires running through the gel box which serve as the real electrodes. The power supply provides electricity, and we use a buffer solution to run DNA. This buffer solution is called 1-XTBE solution. It helps to maintain the integrity of the DNA molecule while it's being separated in the process. This gel has been prepared with a material called agarose. This agarose is extracted from seaweed, and it has a DNA binding dye called gel green added to it. So this is a prepared gel. I will be dismantling the gel, removing the gel from the gel plate. Gel, which is inside the locking plate. So I'm removing the locking plate. So the function of the locking plate is only to lock the two sides of the real gel plate, because we were pouring the hot melted agarose into the gel plate. Okay, and this is the comb that makes the wells in the gel. Perhaps you can see it better. Yeah, these are the wells. Now the gel is placed into the buffer solution, and more buffer is added if necessary, and we are ready to load the gel. We are going to start the procedure now. We are solving the murder case that is given in our Bio 101 lab manual using their DNA. DNA from the blood left at the crime scene and blood from 5 suspects have been extracted and digested with 2 restriction enzymes, EcoR1 and PST1. We are also including a DNA size ladder. This is for reference for size of DNA, and that's going to go into the first lane. These micropipettes are used to load the gel, okay, and we use these tips that go with the micropipettes. These are set to deliver 10 microliters. Okay. So I will be loading these samples onto the gel. First, I open the tube and press down on the plunger to the first stop. Plunger has two stops, the first stop and the second stop. If you go down to the first stop and hold your thumb there and insert the tip into the DNA solution and let go, you have picked up 10 microliters, and now these 10 microliters need to go into the first lane. So you press it down, you don't touch the bottom of the well, you press it down and hold your thumb down as you come out, and you discard the tip and obtain a new tip for the second sample. And this is crime scene sample. Again, this DNA have been digested with 2 restriction enzymes for the RFLP analysis. This goes into the second well. You can guide your hand with the other finger if your hand is shaking. You hold it down there. So that's my second sample. And this is suspect 1's DNA. Suspect 2. The tubes are color coded and the colors are given in your lab manual. I may have lost some there. This is suspect 3. Suspect 4. Suspect 5. Okay, we have loaded all the DNA samples into the gel now. We are ready to run the gel. Remember, we loaded all the DNA samples next to the negative electrode, so when the electricity is flowing, they will be carried over to the positive end. And as the DNA samples are moved by the electric current, they get separated by size. Smaller fragments move faster in the gel and appear at the bottom of the gel. The larger, heavier fragments will remain closer to the top. So I'm putting the lid on to the box, okay, and the codes have been plugged into the correct outlets here, okay, black to black, the negative to negative, and positive to positive. And I'm ready to turn the machine on. Is that the start one? Is that the start one? This one. Okay. These DNA samples have a blue dye in them. This blue dye is simply a working dye for us to be able to see the DNA sample. The actual DNA binding dye, the gel green, is in the gel itself. So we really cannot see DNA just yet. We can only see the working dye. and we are running at a voltage of 130 for about 45 minutes. We have completed agarose gel electrophoresis now, and we are ready to look at the results. We've turned the machine off, and now I'm opening up the gel box by lifting this lid. As you can see, the original samples have separated now. What you still see are the loading dyes. This is not DNA. The blue loading dye actually consists of several different dyes, the blue one and a purple one, and even they have separated based on their size and charge. So now, in order to visualize DNA, we have to transfer this gel to a UV trans illuminator, what we normally call the UV gel box, UV light box, okay? Because the gel green is a fluorescent dye that is only visible under UV light. So I will be transferring this gel very carefully over to the UV trans illuminator, and I'm going to slide the gel off of the plate onto the surface of the UV trans illuminator. And because UV light is dangerous to our eyes, we have to put the plastic lid on before we can turn the UV light on. This is the completed gel. The green bands that you see are actually coming from DNA. This is the moment that you see actual DNA. What gives it the green color is that gel green that we have added to the gel. And since we ran this gel only for 15 minutes, it did not separate well. But you can clearly see the DNA bands. And these are the samples that are extracted from the crime scene and suspects digested with the restriction enzymes. The first lane is the DNA ladder, 1 kb ladder. This picture actually shows the DNA gel much better. This is a completely full run gel. This gel was run for 1 hour and 30 minutes for full separation. And it was photographed under a filter. That's why the colors don't appear green. And that is gel electrophoresis. We can use this gel picture to solve your crime. Today we have performed restriction fragment length polymorphism of DNA samples to solve the murder case that's given in our lab manual. We have run DNA ladder, 1 kb DNA ladder in the first lane, crime scene DNA in the second lane, and then 5 suspects DNA in the subsequent lanes. And these are all digested DNA. These fragments have separated based on their length. The smaller fragments are towards the bottom of the gel, and larger fragments are towards the top of the gel. So this is a size separation, a neat way to separate DNA by the size. What you see in one location is DNA of the same size. And we will be using the data or the information from the DNA standard to do a quantitative analysis. We will measure the DNA from the well to the first band and record it in our book, okay? And then we would measure the distance from the well to the second lane and record it in our book. All the bands in the DNA ladder are known sizes. These sizes are known. We can graph the distance the fragments migrated versus the size using the data from the DNA standard, and then apply it to find the sizes of the bands in the crime scene and suspects DNA to see which ones have a match with the pattern or the sizes that's found in the crime scene.